Picture a small kitchen in Osaka. A mother moves quietly between the stove and the counter, her movements unhurried, her face calm. On the floor beside her, a 2-year-old sits on a low cushion watching, not crying, not reaching for something else, not asking for crackers or something sweet, just watching. When the bowl arrives, miso soup, soft rice, a few pieces of steamed vegetable, the child picks up the small spoon and begins to eat. No negotiation, no airplane noises, no second option waiting in the cabinet. Just a small person, eating what was made in the quiet of an ordinary morning. If you have ever sat across from a toddler who refused everything on the plate and screamed for something yellow and processed, you already know that what you just heard sounds impossible. It is not. And the reason it happens in Japan, quietly, consistently, in millions of homes, has nothing to do with luck or genetics. It has everything to do with a philosophy that begins before the first solid food ever touches a child's lips. In the West, feeding a toddler has become a negotiation, a performance, a battlefield. Parents offer 5 options, hide vegetables inside other foods, download apps that make eating into a game, and still end up with a child who will only eat 4 things and screams at the sight of anything green. This is not a parenting failure. It is the result of a cultural belief that runs so deep, most parents never question it. The belief that a child's immediate comfort is the highest priority, that if a child does not want something, forcing it is cruel, that preferences must be honored from the very beginning. And so the child learns, very early, that the world will rearrange itself around what they feel like having today. That lesson does not stay at the dinner table. It travels with them into classrooms, friendships, and eventually into adult relationships, where discomfort still feels like something that should be immediately removed. Japan never taught that lesson, and the dinner table is where you can see the difference most clearly. The first concept is called Shokuiku. The character Shoku means to eat, to nourish, to take in. The character Iku means to raise, to grow, to cultivate. Together, Shokuiku means food education, but not in the way Western culture uses that phrase. In Japan, Shokuiku is a national philosophy written into law in 2005, taught in schools and practiced at home from the moment a child begins eating. It is not about nutrition labels or balanced plates. It is about teaching a child that food is a relationship, that the person who grew it, cooked it, and placed it in front of you deserves respect, that eating is not about preference, it is about gratitude, connection, and the quiet discipline of receiving what is given. A child raised inside Shokuiku does not approach the table asking what they want. They approach it understanding that something was made for them. That is a completely different starting point. The second concept is Oishii Taberu. Oishii Taberu. Oishii means delicious, but in Japanese, this word carries emotional weight that the English word does not. It is not just a taste description, it is an expression of presence, of noticing, of being fully with the food in front of you. Taberu means to eat. Together, Oishii Taberu is the practice of eating with full sensory attention, taught to children from infancy not as a rule but as a ritual. Japanese mothers narrate food. They say the name of the vegetable. They describe the color. They connect the carrot to the garden, the fish to the sea. Long before a child can understand the words, they are being shown that food has a story. And a child who knows the story of their food does not reject it the way a child rejects a beige thing on a plate with no context and no meaning. The third concept is Gaman. The character ga means self. The character man means to endure, to persist through discomfort. Together, Gaman is the deeply respected Japanese quality of bearing difficulty with patience and dignity, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. In Japanese parenting, Gaman is not demanded of children harshly, it is modeled. A mother who does not complain when dinner takes an hour to prepare. A father who eats without commentary, even when tired. A child who watches the adults around them meet discomfort with stillness, gradually internalizes that same response. When a bowl of something unfamiliar arrives, the Gaman-trained child does not immediately perform distress. They pause, they try, they sit with the unfamiliar instead of fleeing it. That one small capacity, the ability to tolerate something new without crisis, is one of the most protective things a parent can build in a young child. A study from the National Institute of Nutrition in Japan, published in the journal Appetite, found that Japanese children between the ages of 2 and 6 showed significantly lower food neophobia, the fear of new foods, than children in comparable Western studies. The researchers noted that repeated low-pressure exposure, beginning in infancy, combined with the absence of alternative food options, was the strongest predictor of food acceptance. The children were not forced, they were simply never given the message that refusal was an option. That one environmental difference produced measurably different children. A second study from the University of Michigan, published in the journal Pediatrics, followed toddler feeding patterns across American households and found that homes where parents consistently offered alternative foods after rejection raised children with significantly narrower diets by age 5. The parents believed they were responding compassionately to their child's preferences. What they were actually doing was training the child's nervous system to use rejection as a tool. The child learned that distress produces a better option. Japan never installed that training, and the data shows exactly where the two paths diverge. So here is what you can begin doing at home starting tonight. The first thing is to remove the alternative, not harshly, but completely. What is on the table is what there is. You do not need to explain this as a rule. You simply stop offering the backup. When a child knows from experience that distress produces crackers, they will produce distress. When they learn from experience that distress produces nothing except quiet company while they sit with the bowl, the distress loses its function. This is not cruelty. This is the most respectful thing you can do. You are telling your child that you believe they are capable of handling what is real. The second thing is to narrate the food before it is eaten. Not a lecture, 30 seconds. This is broccoli. It grew in the ground. It is a little bitter and a little sweet. Smell it first. You are giving the food a story and giving your child's brain something to attach to besides unfamiliarity. Research consistently shows that children who know something about their food before eating it show higher willingness to try it. You are not tricking them, you are connecting them. The third thing is to eat the same food yourself without commentary. No faces, no enthusiasm performed for their benefit, just you, eating the same bowl in the same quiet. A toddler's mirror neurons are extraordinarily active. They are watching you for information about whether this experience is safe. When you eat calmly, you're sending a signal that travels deeper than any instruction. You're saying with your body, this is normal, this is fine. This is just dinner. And slowly, because children are remarkably good at learning what is normal inside their home, that becomes true for them too. The mother in Osaka does not think of herself as doing anything remarkable. She is simply cooking what she knows, placing it on the table, and trusting her child to meet it. That trust, quiet, consistent, and completely ordinary to her, is the thing that looks like magic from the outside. It is not magic. It is a philosophy practiced daily in small moments long before the hard moments arrive. If this video shifted something in the way you see feeding and raising children, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more on how the world's wisest cultures quietly build resilient, grounded, capable kids, subscribe. There's a lot more coming. See you in the next one.